Hey man, welcome back to another video. If you like the channel, man, please comment, subscribe, like the videos. If you rocking with any of the content, man, please do me a big favor. Just show me some love. I appreciate it. But let's just get right down to it, man. It's gonna be a quicker video compared to everything else that's been going on. Um, Honestly speaking, actual legit question for EA. Um, do they care more about dynasty or cut? And cut is college football ultimate team. We're talking more so obviously about college football. Um, it seems like they don't care too much about dynasty simply because it's not their moneymaker. Now, obviously you can't make money off dynasty because there's no pay to play type aspect. There's no microtransactions. They make all of their money on cut for all the cards and everything else throughout the weeks and months and things of that nature, which to some extent is understandable, but not everybody plays cut. And considering there's only two game modes that most people play. Now, don't get me wrong, people play, Road to Glory and things like that, but honestly speaking, probably by the time the bowl games are starting, by the time like late November, December, well, there's not a lot of people playing Road to Glory. Let's just be honest. People are going to play Dynasty all year. People are going to play Cut all year. But the way that they have been dropping these updates and things for the game, it's more to do with Cut than anything. Now, Cut has its own issues. I personally don't play Cut. Um, Not really, not against people. Just I don't know the game. Just it makes me. I got to get better at making adjustments on defense. That's my biggest thing. Personally, in some aspects, but people quick hike all the time, so it's really hard to make adjustments. So you kind of just end up getting stuck with whatever. And then having to literally do that every play is just it's kind of annoying sometimes. But um cut is their moneymaker. So they're going to take that more serious, which is understandable. But at the same time, you can't give Dynasty any you can't give Dynasty the look off just because cut is where you make all of your money. You can't overlook Dynasty because that's how the game gets most of its replay value. That's how all of these people are logging most of their hours, whether it just be individual or with friends and things like that. Online dynasties are a huge deal, just like Madden leagues and things like that. They're a big deal and a big part of the game. They need to constantly update that every month or so, every month and a half or so, just because there are things in the game that happen that aren't necessarily one-offs. Like some of the updates are about specific plays in a formation and things like that. Honestly speaking, we don't care about that. Keep making sure defense and offense is managed, is balanced. Make sure they're balanced. Keep making sure that um things weird things in the game shouldn't be happening. Like quick no huddle time where your guys won't be set properly and that wastes 5 or 6 seconds off the clock. Even no huddle where they get called just offsides for whatever reason. Um, no huddle with trying to change plays and things like that. And even no huddle on defense. Like, make sure that things can happen. Maybe you need to change some things on defense. I'm gonna be honest, like, since the update, man, I cannot lie to you. The defensive line is it's even more scary, personally speaking. Um, yeah, I played bad teams. My team, one of my teams isn't the greatest, but this is my online dynasty that I'm in, by the way. But uh, I I've played bad teams. I've played like Georgia Southern, Wake Forest, and like some of these bad team, Appalachian State in the game, and they have been wrecking my offensive line like it's no tomorrow, like just breaking through. Like they had a game where I got sacked 10 times, and I'm gonna be honest, it was against a bad team. Now, obviously, you could say, well, your offensive line is trash or whatever the case may be, but based off attributes alone, my offensive line was better. Now, I don't know what was going on, whatever the case may be, could be, you know, could be some of their abilities and things like that. Who knows? But it's pretty insane. That's the first time I've gotten sacked that many times in a game. Honestly speaking, I think the last time I got sacked was like 6 times, but that was like a good team. Getting sacked 10 times against a bad team is not good. I'm gonna be honest. Um, honestly speaking, like they need to change the AI logic with the computer. Just because I'm gonna be honest, um, one thing that I've noticed about this game now that has changed a lot since the beginning is man coverage. Computer runs a lot of man coverage, man. I was just playing NC State. They ran a lot of cover 9 and cover 6, but not a lot. They ran cover 3. They ran a combination of cover 6, cover 9 and cover 3 depending on a point in the game. But it seems like teams that have two good corners, like their number 1 and 2 corners are good, they run a ton and ton of man coverage. Uh they either run a double bracket, double the slot, double number 1, double number 2. They'll double the tight end and literally like either cover one hole, cover one under. They literally run a combination of man coverage the entire game. And honestly speaking, they don't even do this in college, in real life. Some teams that have really good corners are going to do that for sure. But most of the time, it's a ton of coverage. And I'm gonna be honest, maybe it's just my team not being good enough to some extent, but I hate that my team just can't be a press from corners that don't have good press. I'm sorry. Even if your man coverage isn't over 78, 79, there's no, unless you're just fast, there's no reason for you to be step for step with a guy that has 93, 94 speed. I'm gonna keep saying that until I'm blue in the face, personally speaking. Like there's some things in the game in general. I'm just speaking from dynasty purposes because cut, it's just all about if your card is fast or not and things like that, honestly speaking. Um, like from a dynasty perspective, they need to change some of the keep changing and updating and balancing a lot of the computer settings and AI, honestly speaking. Blocking, I don't know what they need to do with blocking. It still needs to be revamped, in my opinion. Uh DBs, I'm gonna be honest, I still can't catch a pick even if I'm literally waiting on it. I mean, I think if I have 10 chances to catch a pick, I might get 3. That's on a good 4 on a good day. If the game loves me that day or that game in general. But I'm gonna be honest, like I get the hardest interceptions, but I can't never get the easy ones. And again, it just seems like if you don't have house call, you're not getting interceptions. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Like the no, if you can't see the no eyes on the ball, you're not getting the interception. That's cool, but they got an animation where a guy just jumps backwards and catches it. I'll look at the ball more than anything to try to catch the pick, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. I mean, I don't know. Personally speaking, I just think that I don't think EA cares about Dynasty until I don't think they only care about Dynasty maybe the first was it's what October now. So maybe like these first 3 months, 3, 4 months of the season, of the game cycle, they'll make Dynasty a focus. Then after that, once college football really starts, it's all about cut. And it's gonna show. I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna show because the updates are gonna get, in my opinion, are probably gonna get less and less about Dynasty and more about cut. Now, cut, you know, whatever issues that it has, obviously it needs to be fixed because they have their tournament every year and things like that. You know, it is what it is. I understand that, but you have to make sure that your game, EA, you have to make sure that your game is still playable for the people that don't play cut. You have to make Dynasty still fun. You cannot stop updating Dynasty for the sake of cut because once you lose that fan base, that side of it, I'm gonna be honest, you're not gonna have enough to sustain, and then it's gonna show. It's gonna show. Now, obviously, you're gonna make a lot off those microtransactions. Cool, but all of the gameplay hours that you think you're gonna get, you're not gonna get anymore without those dynasty people, without those YouTubers that do the offline dynasties and things like that, the rebuilds and all of that. They're not going to do that anymore. You're going to lose these people, and you cannot afford to do that. Especially since you just got bought out, you can't afford that. Um, but that's just what I think personally. I just don't think that the balancing for dynasty is good. I think they're overcompensating on defense, but they're not. But it's more so the defensive line. It's they're overcompensating the D line and the O line right now. And honestly speaking, no, I mean, there's very few people that play D line anyway. So that's just more so the computer. And honestly speaking, I mean, once you get better players, they're going to do their thing. But at the same time, I understand because there's been plenty of seasons where I've had some absolute monster 5 stars, but for whatever reason, they just didn't produce. Elite talent dev and things like that, star dev. I mean, like these guys only average like 5 or 6 sacks for like every season. It's really shocking. I've had 5 star, 4 star gym, star elite corners that only get 3 or 4 picks in their entire season every season. Like it's pretty sad, honestly. Like I've had seasons, even though like one of my teams is a 99 overall, and I get the best talent. I've had seasons where my DBs as a whole only had 7 picks in an entire season. Like that's sad. And the guy that had the most was a linebacker. He had 4 of the 7. So it's like my DBs aren't doing their job. Like they're not getting picks, even though they all have at least silver or gold house call. If they all have at least an 80 catching if they can have it. Like it's insane. It's pretty insane. There's still a lot of fine tuning that they can do with this game. They're they're nitpicking at little things that don't factor into the overall gameplay, in my opinion. And unfortunately, I don't think that is going to help them in the long run. They need to focus on actual gameplay, just not little one offs. I don't know, in my opinion, when it comes to these guys that make these games every year, they don't play it long enough because the transfer portal was trash last year. They never updated it. Okay, they fixed it for the new game. Okay, they have to. understand that some people are going to play Dynasty for 10, 20 years into their season. You have to make it so that these people can play it that long, 30 years into the future or whatever the case may be. It feels like to some extent they did a better job this year, but to some extent they only make it for maybe 5 or 7 years. They only make it to where after like 5 or 7 years, that's when it's just all BS. Cause it just seems like it's all BS right now. I'm gonna be honest. Uh, to some extent, because again, defensive coverage is totally different now. Offensive game plan totally different now. Um, like my AI for my offensive line is just totally different now, even with pass protection, even though it's better. I've started using it more. It's better to some extent, but they still can't pick up blitzes, and I don't understand that. So they still can't pick up like the D logic, the offensive logic is still crazy. Like they'll have D linemen, like I said, 3 or 4 yards away from the tackle, and he just runs right around them regardless. And for there's no defensive alignment that even has that ability. So the fact that these guys can be so far out in itself is a cheat code. Whereas if you're that far out, it's they're gonna move back automatically. No matter how many times you do that. But it is what it is. EA, if you go away from Dynasty, mark my words, this game is going to suffer tremendously for your statistics. May not may not suffer necessarily for the money aspect, but I guarantee you the more you if you start going away from dynasty updates uh regularly like you do with cut updates, there will be more and more YouTube videos coming out in the future about how bad Dynasty is playing. Just like Madden was last year, the gameplay and everything was trash. There was a ton of people that literally did not play Madden. They only played like MUT. They only played the Ultimate Team or whatever. There's plenty of YouTubers out there that are going to start making bad reviews about your game modes, and you don't want that. You also need to keep updating Road to Glory simply because Road to Glory is something that people do, maybe not as long, but when the game's getting close to the end of the cycle, people still want to play Road to Glory. You have to update that. You have to make more positions that people can play, archetypes and things of that nature. There's no reason to have some of the same archetypes. There's no reason why you can't play tight end. There's no reason why they don't have fullback, even though fullback isn't really a thing anymore. But still, why can't you play an offensive lineman? There's no reason why you can't do some of these things. So even make a head coach mode where you're just the head coach. You can't play any games. There used to be an actual game for that for the NFL. Really good game, honestly speaking. Um, Maybe they should make that a college thing as well. That should be its own game mode in the future. Who knows? But you have to make sure that your game keeps getting played, not just cut. Every other game mode has like the other two big game modes, Road to Glory and Dynasty. You have to make sure that you satisfy those people too, because if you don't, it's going to turn into honestly 2K. I'm just gonna be honest. This is going to turn into 2K. With that first year in my career, it's cool. It has the cutscenes, and then after that, it's done. Nobody wants to play it anymore. Everybody's just in the park. Everybody plays like the first year of my career, more or less, and then it's just chopped. So please, for your sake, EA, it's not all about the money. You're gonna make tons of money just off the bundles and pre-orders alone. Focus on your game. Now, with that being said, if you guys have any of your own comments, man, tell me what you think. I appreciate anything and everything. Like I said, appreciate all the support. Please like, comment, subscribe to the video, to the channel, man. Follow me on Twitch. It's in the description. Follow me on TikTok as well. Until next time, peace out.